Can you hear us?
I'm here.
All right. Can you hear us okay?
Let's see. I think so. I'm going to turn up the volume. And I'm very shiny or very dark, depending.
All right. Let me. What we have is we have a camera set up here that's looking at this situation. You can't really see, but from our perspective, I mean, what we have is looks really good. Your shot of what you're looking at is kind of more awkward than what.
You can blow him up on it.
It looks pretty good to me.
Okay.
And
All right.
I'll do my best so I can be staring at you guys rather than me.
All right. Let me make this big and then there we go. So it's full screen for us.
Wait, exit out of that once now.
Exit out of what?
Exit
That's
out
the
of that.
most
Escape.
horrifying thing I've heard today.
Just press
Do what?
escape and then video.
Do what? Video. Oh.
Record.
We're gonna record the chat as well. We need your permission to do that, if that's okay.
Okay, that's okay.
All right, great. So now we're recording actually with multiple cameras, and so we have 3 different cameras. So we just want to ask you a bunch of social media questions for the class, and I think Heather's gonna start off. So Heather Hoyle, jump up here.
Sure.
Okay, here comes Heather Hoyle. And the shot's good, Ben?
Okay. Hi, Craig.
Can
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can see you now too that I've rearranged my iChat windows.
Okay. My first question is, in our social media class this semester, we've been working a lot on optimizing our personal brands, and I've been struggling with whether or not I should connect my personal networks with my professional networks. I don't know if you have any advice for me going into graduation this May.
It depends, I guess, on how much you've disclosed of in your personal network. If you've appropriately sanitized it, let's say, and there's nothing in there that won't frighten a hiring manager, I'd say connect them. Because right now, remember, hiring managers, people like that, let's say they're not always sure what they're doing. Some may have some training, some not. But in any case, probably at this point they're going to look around some, and they're going to look for something which shows that you're a real person and that may have some personality and distinguish you from others. I'd say that's the normal case out here in the world. There are probably exceptions, but you know, I think you'd prefer to work with someone who wants someone with a real personality.
Okay. Thanks.
Well, let me ask, if you're hiring at Craigslist, do you look at people's Facebook and Twitter and everything?
I don't know because I have nothing to do with hiring.
Oh, okay.
Remember, in 2000, I gave up all my management responsibilities to Jim Buckmaster.
Right.
Because I suck as a manager. I honestly don't have the skills or temperament to do hiring. So I'm terribly grateful that I'm not involved with that.
She's got
Okay.
a couple more good ones. What do you got?
All right.
Sure.
My next question is, do you think Google's going to take over the world?
That Google, what's about the world?
It is going to take over the world.
Not at all. Right now, for example, there are a lot of people who think that Facebook, by focusing on people's relationships and how people work together, may actually be better positioned. But I think we're beginning to see let's say, a reasonable balanced ecosystem of companies who are doing different things. So I don't think any are stronger than the others in that long-term sense.
Okay. And I was noticing in the past few days that Google just offered Groupon almost $6 billion to purchase their company. Are you aware of that at all?
I think I may have seen a reference, I can't recall, and you'll forgive me, I guess I'm focused elsewhere.
Okay.
So I may not care as much about that as someone might.
That's a good question, though.
Okay. All right, that's all I have.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great questions, Heather. Good work. So we have a series, Craig, I have a series of students that are just going to come up here and ask you a variety of questions focused on social media. If that's the class is called Social Media and the New Web, so it's all about the internet and you know, trends in the internet and stuff like that. You ready? This is Richard Fosness.
Hey, Craig.
Hey.
So I was wondering if you think Apple's iPhone or the Android phones, like which one's going to excel in the future more than the other?
Well, Apple and Google actually have both done great work with these phones. That's for real. Apple does good software work, good hardware work. Google has presented a pretty good Android platform, and I tend to prefer the Android stuff. The openness means that the rate of innovation is more rapid. For example, typing recognition on a Google phone has always worked better for me than on any Apple iOS device. So I like that. And yeah, Apple does try to tie people to their hardware maybe a little more than I'd like. But right now I'm glad for the competition. This way we'll see much faster smartphone development and deployment, because most people through the world are going to be interacting with the internet and with each other through mobile devices, and so I want to see a faster development of smartphones. I want to see them get cheaper and more universal, and in that sense Google Android may have the advantage, since there's a lot of manufacturers, particularly in China, who are in love with Google Android.
What smartphone do you carry, Craig?
Right now I'm using an HTC Evo.
Oh, me too.
But I have a feeling I'll wind up on some Verizon device in the near future. The deal is that when you're talking Android, you could go from carrier to carrier.
Yeah.
And some carriers do perform better than others.
All right, thanks.
Good job. Richard, who else had a question for Craig? Who's next? Ben? This is Benjamin Bano.
Hey, Craig.
Hey.
Hey, Craig. Have you ever funded a project through Kickstarter, and do you like the website? Do you like what it does for the young upstarts?
I think I've taken a look at it, and based on my memory, I like it quite a bit, but I haven't funded projects that way. These days, I'm doing personally a number of, I guess, contributions to charities, philanthropies. I've invested very little of my time, and in fact, my investment philosophy has mostly been save a lot and don't really invest much, because I really don't know what I'm doing. The company sometimes makes larger charitable investments and stuff like that. And frankly, what I'm looking to do is spend a lot more time with my public service and philanthropy work, because that way I can help out a lot of people, and I'm doing a great deal there. I've actually engaged professional help in terms of finding ways to greatly amplify what I'm doing. To go off on a tangent for a moment more, in the philanthropy world, there's a lot of people who have good intentions, but who don't know how to get stuff done. I'm trying to find people and groups who know how to get stuff done in conjunction with, I guess, good works that I actually understand. Because there's a lot of charity work I don't really understand or have a grip of, and there's some things I know a great deal. Like I'm doing a lot of work regarding military veterans. On the other hand, opera, not so much.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Okay, this is Danielle, Craig. She's got some questions about specific social media
Hello.
company.
Hey.
We were wondering if you have got involved with Jumo, and what you think about that, if you have any plans with working with Jumo.
As it turns out, I'm already working with Jumo a bit. Been talking with Chris Hughes there. The deal is what they're doing. I think there's a lot of potential there, because what I really would like to do, what I need to get at more, would be to find a group of platforms with which to get everyone in the world connected with everyone else, and for purposes of goodwill. Jumo may be a very big part of that, and yesterday I was actually blogging to that effect. I have my own blog, cnewmark.com, but I also put it on Huffington Post, and it's on my Facebook fan page. That's Facebook.com/Craig Newmark. I tweet it a lot as Craig Newmark. The deal is that, I think this decade is going to be a really big one. People are using the internet more and more to connect with each other, to do good stuff together. Jumo may play a big role in that. I'm looking at other things too, but do take a look at Jumo. I got to get my act better together with that. One area where they haven't done enough on is to have people evaluating nonprofits. Kind of like what I think we need is a Yelp for nonprofits. And I'm also working with a group called greatnonprofits.org, which I think will fulfill that role.
Cool, thank you.
Sure, you don't have another question? It looks like you're thinking of one.
She helped to get the new governor elected of Wisconsin. Actually, she worked on the Twitter account for the new governor. You want to tell them a bit about that?
That's pretty good. The deal is that this kind of makes politics more grassroots for real.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people who talk about it, but they don't mean it.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, we actually looked you up on Jumo and read your article that you posted on your website before I asked you the question, so.
Yeah, if you look at my writing, you'll see why I keep my day job. That's customer service. You'll see most of my writing consists of saying that, that someone else's effort is pretty good. I write a couple sentences about why it means something, and then I quote them, which is to say I'm cheating, but that seems to be what people want. However, soon you'll see me blogging about the new squirrel-resistant suet palace, because I just put that up a couple hours ago, and I think some of the larger birds have to figure out how to work with it. The squirrel has already figured out how to get into it, but at a slow rate, which is good for me, since it won't eat all the suet up at once. And if this means that I'm spending too much time looking at my birds, you're right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we've got another student here for you, Craig. There we are.
Hi, Craig. I'm Kelsey.
Hey.
So just by looking at your blog and your website, it's obvious that you've been able to work with a variety of people. Is there anybody or a company that you have yet to work with but that you would like to?
Or a person.
Or a person.
I can't think of any groups that I might want to do so. I'm working with a lot more than I'm letting on. But the deal is sometimes you get more done when you don't talk about stuff publicly. And right now I have a feeling there's more stuff that I'm not talking about than I am talking about. In other cases, I'm being very restrained in what I'm saying because, especially when it comes to any matters of governance, today the FCC and so on quoted me about net neutrality, or as I like to think about it, just fairness. I have a lot more thinking to do about the issue, and I have a lot more to say, but I'm holding back because, sometimes too many people are talking about something already. And again, sometimes my contribution to a project might be to keep my mouth shut.
That's very wise. Just also on that topic of networking with people, how do you best network with other people to work with them? Or do you find that people often ask you to work with them more?
Usually it's people approaching me for the most part, but I'll work with people a great deal online. Sometimes I'll get out to an event of one sort or another to actually talk to people. And you may have seen I have a favorite cafe hangout in my neighborhood. But, when I talk about being a nerd, I'm serious. I am a pretty complete nerd, the whole cliche. I'm not very social, so even when I do something like this, I can only take it for an hour or two. Last night I went to kind of a celebration party for Kamala Harris, the San Francisco DA, who's now the California Attorney General. But when the crowd started getting a little too densely packed, that's when I took off.
All right, thank you so much.
Sure.
Okay, so Rachel is going to fire off a question here. Oh, is the mic? How's the sound? How's the sound, Ben? Good?
We're good.
Good.
Hi, Craig.
Hey.
I've just been reading some books about social media, like the Facebook effect and what would Google do. Just wondering if you have any suggestions or if you read any social media type books.
I do read them, and I can recommend both. They're both pretty good, The downside is that they were obsolete even before they were published, since things change too much.
Right.
So in both cases, keep up with both guys, both Jeff Jarvis and I think it's David Kirkpatrick,
Yep.
are writing more stuff currently. Right these days, since I'm focusing more on philanthropy and stuff like that, take a look at what Beth Cantor just published. Also, Deanna Zant just published something too. Their focus is on social media for nonprofits. Although from my point of view, they're more from, they say a lot about social media from the bottom up.
Okay.
And of course, most of us are not going to be in positions where we have a lot of control at big companies.
Right.
You're going to be operating from the bottom up, from the grassroots, for your own sense of personal branding, as well as, most people go to work for small business, not big business. So take a look at what Beth Cantor does. That's K-A-N-T-N-E-R, and Deanna Zant, I think that's Z-A-N-D-T. They do good stuff like that. Now, I'm biased, since for 15 years I've been doing customer service, so I tend to view everything these days from the bottom up, which does color my point of view. I used to work for big companies like IBM, but, the bottom-up approach is all I really understand.
All right, thanks.
Sure.
Dominique, I think you should ask him a question about Twitter. Yeah. Dominique is a huge Twitter user, Craig, and I know you're big on Twitter.
What you doing?
Hey,
What's
I
up?
have limited vocabulary, as you've seen.
Okay, I guess my question for you is, how do you interact with your followers? Do you follow them back, or do you just look for people to mention you, or things like that of that nature?
Well, it's a combination of all the above. I follow people who I know have something to say, who I can learn from. And frankly, there's a lot of people who have social media knowledge that I got to learn from to do what I think I want to do with my life. And I follow some folks just because I think it's funny. Like I follow Common Squirrel, because whoever the guy is behind Common Squirrel, he perfectly understands the squirrel way of life. So it's a trade-off, bouncing back and forth like that. For that matter, I follow someone who's in character for a British spy series called Spooks. It's called MI5 in this country,
Okay.
if you watch BBC America. And I just do that for my own amusement, but also it's a good show, so what the hell.
Do you try to get more followers like every day, or are you looking for a max cap of followers?
I don't actively look for followers at this point. All the followers I've gotten have been spontaneous and I guess word of mouth. I actually should be more methodical about that, and I plan to be, because again, frankly, what I'm working together on right now with a team of people is to build a website, a very small, modest one, the point of which would be to be a hub for all of the social work, the good stuff that other people are doing. The idea is that I've located a lot of people who are doing good stuff, and I want them to stand up for each other and to connect in whatever manner it works. In doing so, I'll probably acquire a greater following, and what I'll do is use that to promote other people's stuff. And if you look at my blogging, you'll see that I'm either promoting other people's stuff or posting to amuse myself. You'll see the bird pictures I have. And if I can get a good picture, I'll show how the squirrel has actually managed to eat, but slowly, from the new squirrel-resistant suet palace. And now and then I'll, defend something that means something close to me. But for the most part, I'm pushing other people's stuff.
Okay. I was like, you should try to find some kind of way you can connect the Craigslist.com to Twitter. That'd be kind of slick.
Maybe I should be pushing for more Craigslist stuff on Twitter, and I could talk to the team about that. As a nerd and an engineer, anything that smacks of self-promotion is very uncomfortable.
Gotcha.
It's kind of what
Alright,
we
thanks.
talked about. It's like the 15-to-1 rule, right? He says he has a selfish initiative, which is that he's hoping you'll follow him back on that.
Yeah, you should follow me. I just mentioned you like maybe 30 minutes ago. Bowtie_Neek. That's me. I'm going to mention you again, so I'll talk to you.
Okay, can you repeat the name again?
Bowtie_Neek.
Hey, bow tie. No, that's different than ball tie.
No, bow
No,
tie.
bow tie.
Bow, like as in a bow
Bow
tie.
tie.
That's Battlestar Galactica, which I guess is different.
All right.
Remember that nerds read science fiction.
Got you.
It's true.
All right, well, I might have one more for, I don't know, is anybody else have a question for Craig while we have him?
I'm not rushing off, so.
Adam Sullivan has a question for you. You'll remember Adam. Adam is the one who you've been talking to on email and everything.
Sure.
Hey, I was just wondering, with your philanthropy work, what would be the #1 focus where you want people to start improving for the common good? What do you want to get done?
Well, the biggest thing is kind of a little bit abstract. What I want to do is get people in the millions and someday billions together to connect online for whatever they think is important. The idea is that, there's a few causes I know that are important and that I spend time with. You'll see veterans is one big issue, but my idea is to get people connected and then more connected, and then I get out of the way to the extent possible. Getting out of the way and sometimes just to stop talking is one of the best things a person can do for other people.
Sounds good. And the other thing is I noticed your profile picture is with Obama. How did you make that?
I wanted to ask that too.
I connected with him actually via some other work he had been doing several years ago. He had the so-called Hope PAC, that's like PAC, and the deal is I sense that he really did want to open government up and make it work better. And again, my interest is in governance, not politics. But the deal is that I'm working with a lot of people in government who are making things work together better, and that's what I want to push. Today I posted something too relating Wikipedia and what they're doing and, how politicians use Wikipedia, how I'm trying to help it not be a battleground for partisan efforts, and I'm talking to people on both sides of the aisle for that.
Very cool. Thank you.
So anyone else have a question for Craig? Jonathan? This is Jonathan Stassen. He's a big nerd, big tech nerd too, which we can say proudly.
I can
Definitely. Thanks. All right. So I don't know how much you'll know, or you should know about this. So Craigslist was before Facebook was around, right?
Yeah. We started in '95. I forget the date for Facebook.
It's like 04, so
yeah,
a long time.
So I was kind of interested in if you, what the before and after effect of Facebook has been for Craigslist. I don't know how much you'll know. It'd be awesome.
I don't think there is any cause and effect vis-a-vis Craigslist and Facebook. I don't think I've seen anything. Sometimes I'm pretty sure that one thing we've done is we've shown a lot of people that the net is useful for everyday stuff and gotten people to use it, and they find that it's easy to do. So maybe from there they graduate to more powerful forms of networking, like Facebook. I'm pretty sure I've seen that, but I'm reading between the lines, and someone who knows more than me may be able to clarify that.
Sure. So there wasn't like a huge significant increase in people using Craigslist at that point when...
I don't think we've ever seen a huge increase in anything over the years. As far as I can tell, it's always been slow, continuous growth. Kind of like in the race between hare and tortoise.
Sure.
We're the tortoise.
So you've mostly spread by word of mouth, correct? And then...
Yeah. That's pretty much it. We don't advertise. We made a stab at it in 2000, trying to get, I think we took out a few ads in HR magazines, figuring that maybe people would buy job ads, but we decided that didn't work, and never felt right anyway.
Sure.
That's great.
Yep.
Do you have any other questions for me?
No, that's all. Thank you. He just followed
Okay,
you.
so Dominique wants us to tell you that he just followed you on Twitter.
I appreciate that, thanks. Okay, you know how to find me. Craig Newmark is one word on Facebook and Twitter. You can always email me if you want, craig@craigslist.org.
That was the one question I wanted to ask you, Craig, is about you, and I've seen you talk about this in interviews and stuff, is that you have dedicated yourself to being, and you call yourself a customer service representative, which is like, and so why is that? Why, and all of Adam's emails to you, we were surprised at how incredibly fast you get back to us. And we're kind of like totally impressed by that, and I'm wondering, like, why did you become that, and how do you go about that?
It just feels right, and I think the reason is that I really do believe that you want to treat people like you want to be treated. The benefit of doing customer service is that, though I stay pretty firmly connected to reality, I mean, we all have biases that affect how we perceive things and so on, but I hear from people, I hear about real problems with the site, but other stuff as well. I hear from people who are using our barter categories to put food on the table. And so that means what I'm doing is anchored in reality, and that feels right.
You must answer an ungodly amount of email, though, is my assumption.
It's hard to say, and right now I'm engaged in an effort where I'm doing a lot of skills and knowledge transfer to the core part of the customer service team. Like pointing out, let's say that somebody mailing in is actually trolling on the forums or reporting problems with apartment brokers in New York City, because that's a problem that until recently I was the only one who knew a lot about it, and I just got to turn over that information to people on the team so that other folks know. I've been doing customer service for over 15 years. I need a bit of a break. But I'm committed to doing significant customer service only as long as I live.
Now, I just want to ask you one last question. Does every email that goes to Craig at Craigslist, do you answer every email?
Well, that's where they all head to, and sometimes they get into my spam folder, which I check, but I'm sure I got to miss something. But what happens is typically that either I answer it, or send it on to customer service for further processing.
So, but you personally handle every one on some level?
Well, I see each one, and I either answer it or I dispatch it to other people.
That's pretty amazing, really.
I don't know how amazing it is. It does help that I use a very advanced email tool called Pine, and if any of you were old programmers, you would find that comment hilarious, because it's actually like a 20-year-old email tool, character mode only. It's running right now behind the window I see you, which is distracting. I should have minimized it, but I think I can live with it.
Pine. Well, we'll have to look that up. I haven't heard of it. Has anyone heard of Pine? No.
You guys are so young.
Well, we really appreciate your time, Craig. It's been a real pleasure. And we're going to put this on YouTube as well.
Thanks, folks.
And happy early birthday as well.
And
I appreciate it, especially as I enter my declining years at an accelerating pace.
And actually, Vince Cerf said to send his personal regards.
Vince Cerf says hi as well and sends his personal regards.
Tell Vince hi from me.
Will do.
Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, folks.